Live action anime adaptations had quite the reputation. The bad drastically outweighs the few good. This year, the next one up for a live action adaptation is One Piece. Since we're talking about One Piece, I remember a while ago someone said I should stop hating on One Piece. It's time for me to beat the allegations. If you're new here, my name is Yuno, and now you know. If you enjoyed this video at any point, leaving a like would be appreciated. If at any point you want to see more, feel free to check out the channel. If you like what you see, kick back and stay a while and hit the subscribe button. Now, on to the video. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you're a One Piece fan. If not, let me break it down. For 22 years, the pirates have been sailing the seas looking for Gold Rogers, the king of the pirates' lost treasure. The story follows Monkey D. Luffy, a child who dreams is to be the king of the pirates. We join Luffy as he assembles his crew, fight other pirates, run from the Marines as he head towards the Grand Line. I've watched One Piece multiple times, and personally the anime is a bit hard for me to get into in the beginning. Instead, I decided to read it. I picked up the first manga box set. And usually, when I read mangas, I give it 3 volumes until I'm interested in it. With One Piece, it took me 7 volumes to get into it. One thing I don't like about One Piece is the pacing. I absolutely hate it. I'm very happy to say that this live action series pacing is far better, making this very easy to get into. I like that they took the pilot chapter and spread it throughout the first 2 episodes, keeping me engaged and wanting more. Also, I love where the flashbacks are placed in the series. None of them felt out of place or out of nowhere. Now, I'm a fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean series, so if this show had any vibe like that to it, I was in. And I would say it did, but it still kept that fun, energetic feel to it. There was moments in the series where they dived a bit darker, and it was a very nice touch. The acting was solid as well. It took me a bit to get into Luffy. Nami was cool. Zoro was exactly what I expected him to be, and he was so cool. Shanks was the only one that felt lacking to me. One big issue I have with adaptations is costumes. They're either too accurate and take you out of the story, or tries to be too gritty. This was a perfect balance, very believable. Now, the pilot episode was a perfect launch pad for this series, and it did a great job getting me interested. Episode 2 was fantastic and probably my favorite episode of the series. Luffy, Zoro, and Nami find themselves in prison on an island taken over by a deranged clown pirate, Buggy. In the trailer, Buggy did look a bit goofy, but in live action, he was incredible. Now, it's been a while since I read the beginning of One Piece, but I don't remember Buggy being that dark of a character. I was totally in for this rendition of him. Him forcing the town to be his audience was a nice touch as well. Honestly, Buggy was one of my favorite performances in the series. What was also a shock to me was that the attention Kobe was given. His journey ranking up in the Marines and proving himself. We only got a little bit of that in the opening chapter pages, but I'm glad this series dived a little bit more into it. Episode 3 and 4, Luffy, Zoro, and Nami lands on Syrup Island, where they meet Usopp, a local who introduced the group to Kaya, a sick shipyard heiress under the care of a trio of overbearing house staff. While fighting their way through Kaya's mansion, which has now become a prison, Usopp enlists the help of Kobe and the Marines. Now, this is probably where I'm about to make enemies. I hate Usopp. I don't like him at all. I also didn't like this arc when I read it in the series. The only thing I liked about these episodes was Zoro's and Kobe's storyline. Also, I don't know if it was me, but this episode was oddly dark. It was very hard to see what was going on. It could be my TV. Maybe I'll just need to watch it on a different screen. Episode 5 and 6. Luffy and the gang are tested in their abilities to fight together on the high seas. They arrive on a floating restaurant where they encounter Sanji, a young chef with a love of fine dining. A duel on the docks shocks the group when we also learn about Sanji as he decides to follow his dreams. One thing I love about this episode was the set design. The restaurant looked amazing, and so did the food. As someone who loves watch cooking shows like MasterChef and all that, this episode gave me that feeling and it was great. It was short, but I love it, and I hope the series carried this on throughout the future. Sanji was such a smooth character. I really liked this version of him. And on top of that, Mihawk was such a badass. He was way cooler here than he was in the manga. I don't care, I'll say it. The hand-to-hand fight scenes was okay to me. Also, the Nami betrayal was better in the manga personally. But the actress who plays Nami did her part very well. I also love Zoro officially joining the crew in this episode. I felt in the manga it was a bit too early, but this was a great pace for him to join the crew finally. Episodes 7 and 8. After Nami's betrayal, the crew sets off to Coco Island to get their crew member back, but also stop Arlong. So I'm not sure if it was me, but Arlong was not that intimidating to me in this show. Nami's backstory was done nicely, and the actress who played Nami really put her best foot forward. I think the best moment in this series was Zoro and Luffy talking on the roof. A beautiful character moment between them two. Also, Garp not wanting his grandson to die. I really love that moment too. This series has some really strong character moments, and that's probably the best thing I like in the series. The action scene in this episode takes it to another level. Zoro and Sanji fighting off the fisherman was great. And Luffy and Arlong fight, this was the best looking fight in the series. The ending fight with Luffy and Garp was also great and had a lot of heart to it. Overall, this adaptation was done very well. Did this save anime adaptations or break the curse of anime adaptations? No. There are good anime adaptations out there, but just like anime games, the bad outweighs the good. This is certainly up there with the best, maybe the best. Now, this may be a hot take, but I prefer to watch the live action over the anime. It all comes down to pacing, and this one just had me hooked from the beginning. Going forward, I would love to see the series go in a different direction from the anime and manga. However, if it doesn't, the only arc I would really like to see is the Alabasta arc. If I were to give this show a rating, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Solid beginning. If you watched the show, let me know what you thought of it down below. Will I cover more One Piece on this channel? Maybe, maybe not. But whenever this second season comes out, I will be there.